Hello. I want to make a quick video about a novel I just finished reading and which I enjoyed so much because I love it when fiction is able to present two conflicting perspectives that are equally convincing. It shows that there's not really any right or wrong and how complicated our relationships are. So the novel I just read is Nightbloom by Adzo Medie, and I partly wanted to make it out here in my garden because my yellow roses are blooming and this has bloom in the title, and the large format edition and hardback edition of this novel in the UK has this big floral design. So I thought it was the perfect setting to talk about this book, which it's such a pleasure because it follows two cousins who are growing up in Ghana. So there is Selassie and there is Akorfa, and they are cousins, but they're more like sisters or best friends because they're very close growing up together. But then as they get older and circumstances start to change and things to do with economic factors in their lives and familial relationships and social standing, and the issues to do with family that happened in past generations, they have an effect on the subsequent generations, and they affect these cousins as they grow up. They develop different interests, they have different academic abilities, and their paths really diverge from each other. And the narrative takes place by following one character's perspective for quite a while, and then it switches to another to show the same events, but from a very different perspective. And both of them, I was equally convinced by them. And it started to make me question, like, well, how gullible am I when listening to somebody talk about their experience? Do I just believe it wholeheartedly, or do I take it with a pinch of salt? And I love how it shows their different personalities and how they also go through some very similar difficulties in their lives, but because they have this break in their connection with each other due to all of these circumstances, they aren't able to support one another in the way that they could. And so it feels like there's this tragedy to that relationship. And so we follow one cousin of Korfa as she travels to America and studies there and experiences American racism and the difficulty of trying to settle down there and being so dependent on friends and family while she is there studying, trying to establish a life for herself, and the ways she is meant to look the other way and pretend that injustices being inflicted upon her aren't happening. It's so tragic how that occurs. And the same thing happens to Selassie, who stays in Ghana and becomes a restaurateur and has a husband who is an aspiring politician. And she encounters some real difficulties as well, and is just meant to sort of suck it up. But she stands for her rights, and it's so harrowing following her journey and the complicated politics of the country, the real misogyny that's like built into the structure of the government and the politicians. And so as I was talking, my phone fell off from the container that I put it on top of. But this gives me a chance to show you my yellow roses more close up. But yeah, following Selassie's story in Ghana, I mean, I have a special penchant for any fiction which portrays somebody that is trying to make a food business go. Like I just have an instant draw towards that. And so I love how that is portrayed in the novel. But also when Akorfa returns to Ghana and they reconnect, and following that journey that they go on and how they realize that they really had a connection between each other, which was lost from all of these other circumstances that were surrounding them. And it's just a beautiful journey, a beautiful novel, and I was completely swept away by it. And it's filled with so much wonderful social detail and characters that I initially liked, then became more critical of. And I just like how it shifts up that perspective and shows you that the world and our relationships are much more complicated than we initially think of them. I loved reading this novel, and I would love to hear if you have read this book and what you think about it, or if you're interested in reading it now. But I hope you're doing well and reading good things and having some good weather where you are, and I will speak to you again soon. Bye-bye.